Hey folks, Trouble T Cat here, and today I'm reviewing Unavowed, the best adventure game you haven't played. This underappreciated gem from Wajidai should be considered a modern classic of the genre. Let's talk about why. I first played this game back in 2018, not long after it was released. It was my first Wajidai game, and it was so good that it inspired me to play a bunch of other games from their catalog. I recently replayed the full game while live streaming in 2026, and it delighted me just as much, if not even more. Before we get into it, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews and other gaming content. Starting with the good, first up is the game's plot. Unavowed grabs you with a great hook and very personal stakes right away. This review won't contain any story details beyond the first hour of the game to avoid spoilers, but even in that first hour, you learn that your character was possessed by a demon, the demon used your body to go on a rampage of murder and destruction, and, oh yeah, demons are a thing. The game doesn't pull any punches, and this immediately draws you into the game's world and the drama of the narrative. Speaking of the game's world, the setting is another major strength. Unavowed presents an urban fantasy setting where the moody, rain-soaked streets of Manhattan are prowled by all sorts of mythological, magical, fae, and demonic creatures and characters. I'm a sucker for this type of setting that combines the modern world with the supernatural, and Unavowed nails it alongside the feeling of a classic noir detective thriller. This is supported by the game's stellar presentation. As you can see, the backgrounds in this game are absolutely stunning works of art, using saturated, contrasting colors and a constant sense of style to immerse you in the moody setting and tone of the game. The main character sprites are also well drawn, and we get more character detail in excellent zoomed-in headshots during dialogue. The game's music is also phenomenal, with the overall timbre and sound selection clearly inspired by classic 90s CD adventure game soundtracks. It uses a mix of jazz-inspired tunes during exploration, which perfectly fit the New York City nights, as well as more dramatic soundscapes for the game's more intense moments. The overall design of the gameplay is also a success. The game is structured in a somewhat similar way to Mass Effect. You have a team of party members to choose from, only 4 in the case of Unavowed, though each are very well developed, and you choose 2 to bring with you on each mission. They have different abilities that can help you on each mission in different ways. The decision of who to bring along is quite interesting, and it feels like this adds a bit to the game's replayability, as the solutions to puzzles and how each chapter of the game plays out depends on which party members you have with you. The puzzles themselves are, in my opinion, very well balanced. Some people might find them a bit easy, but for me they struck just the right balance in terms of being hard enough that you feel a bit clever each time you solve one, without being so hard that it results in lengthy periods of time being stuck, which would have ruined the pace of the game's excellent narrative. The characters are also wonderful, with all of your party members having very unique personalities and all of them being extremely lovable in unique ways. It was often hard to choose who to bring along on each mission, not just because they all have different abilities that can help you in different ways, but also because I wanted to spend more time with each of them, learn more about them, or just hear more of their quips. Several of the side characters are also extremely well developed, and the writing and voice acting are both very strong overall, contributing to making the characters feel lively and interesting. In terms of the meh, I don't actually have much to say about this game that isn't positive, but there were a few side characters whose voice acting was a bit goofy or unconvincing, at least for certain lines, and these could pull me out of the game a little bit. The voice acting overall remains a positive, despite a few moments or characters that felt a bit off. The writing is in the same boat. It's overall excellent, including the overall narrative, minor things like environment descriptions, and the character writing. However, there are just a couple of awkward moments where a character says something a bit odd in terms of dodgy grammar or not quite matching the scenario in some way. These minor areas of missing polish are understandable for a smaller budget game like this, but when the overall level of quality is so high, they do stand out a little bit as brief disruptions to enjoying the game. As for the not good, I really have nothing wholly negative to say about this game. I struggled to think of some things and came up with a few possible nitpicks, like a few strange-looking animations or sprites, but these issues were so minor that I don't honestly feel like they really need to be discussed. So, we can move right on to my final verdict. My final score for Unavowed is 4 out of 5 cats. You might be thinking, Damn, Cat, you've been glazing the game this whole time. What do you have to do to earn 5 cats? My answer is that I'm saving the coveted 5 out of 5 cat rating for games that are so good that they transcend genre. Where I would say, even if you don't like point-and-click games normally, you should play this. Unavowed is not quite that game. If I could give it 4.5, I would, but cutting cats in half is cruel, and we won't be doing any of that on this channel. All of that said, Unavowed achieves everything it sets out to do with style, and it kept me wholly engrossed during its entire runtime. The only people I wouldn't recommend it to are people who simply never enjoy point-and-click adventure games or narrative-based games. But within its genre, it's a triumph, and a game that I think deserves to be talked about much more often than it is, even 8 years after its release. Go and play it. Thanks for watching, folks, and if you enjoyed that review, it would really help me out if you left a like. If you want to see more stuff like this in the future, subscribe to the channel. And if there's anything you want to know about the game that I didn't cover in this review, please leave me a comment. I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. Thanks again, and until next time, Treble T Cat out.